One of the things that we have learned is that there are sometimes our CAPS instructors, because they are giving high school credit and college credit, there are sometimes they have to just outwardly teach those specific standards because the industry partners don't value what that might be, but we have to master those standards to be able to qualify to give high school credit and college credit. So there are times, and I think a good example with our technology class, we have a discrete math credit put into that course, and our project work in technology solutions was not at the highest level, so you could never teach that some of those math concepts through the project work from the industry partners. So very often that teacher would literally have to just sit down and teach some of those discrete math standards just separately, because obviously we wanted the kids to have high school credit and college credit. The project work from the industry partners did not enable some of those higher level standards. Now, that being said, that you have to give your instructors autonomy. You have to give your instructors the trust that they will meet all those standards, and without that trust of your instructors, this whole thing falls apart, because all you're doing then is micromanaging instructors to meet standards. So that's a key differential of how we work here at CAPS. Okay, what else?
Would you explain what the roadmap is?
Yeah, the process, what we knew is that if we didn't have the right kinds of inputs, we'd never get to the right kinds of output. So the input is into the process is always industry trends. What are the high demand, hot jobs? What's going on economically in the economic development in the region or in the area that you're launching your CAPS program? And then also student interest. What are kids interested in? And all of those inputs then drive a small prototyping team, a team that consists of university people and business folks, industry folks, and then high school experts. But it's a very small team so that they can move swiftly and quickly, and they have full autonomy. But there is a limited amount of time that you want to give them to come up with a prototype, because the prototype, quite frankly, is a talking tool. It's a tool to help socialize the idea of, we think these are the important standards, or we think this is the roadmap that we ought to take kids through if we're going to study veterinary medicine. So that roadmap looked different for each of the instructors. Again, autonomy. There were some instructors that literally had sequential courses, if you will, that they put into a roadmap. Some of the instructors really took one big experience of engineering or medicine, and they roadmapped that from the awareness level to the practice level to the application level. So I really let the instructors be creative. What they ended up with was a document that they could then socialize again, with others, share with others, and then gather more feedback. Just like iPad 1, you have to put something out there so that people can respond to it and react to it, and then you pull it back in. And that iterative feedback process, whatever that roadmap looked like, I let the instructors go with it. There were some level of rubric, if you will. We wanted to know like what some of the professional skills were that were going to be reinforced in this experience or this course. We needed to know what kind of credit they were going after, maybe even what are the business partners that might help facilitate. So there was some structure just to get instructors started, but I will tell you that each of the prototypes, they all look a little different, which is appropriate in the world of creativity and innovation. But they all got to a specific point where they were able then to deliver it. And I'll tell you that every semester here at CAPS is different because we're not standardizing. We're not doing the same thing over and over and over again because the world changes in a semester. That industry changes in a semester. So it's the instructor's responsibility. They're the lead on keeping that curriculum ever fresh. And the way they do that is through their own knowledge and skill set and keeping themselves up to speed, but also through their involvement with industry partners, because those are the people on the front lines of the newest technologies and newest innovations in those industries. But the instructor is the lead. And again, that gives full autonomy and trust to an instructor, which is not common. And without that, this doesn't work because you squelch all the creativity and the ownership that an instructor would feel if you don't give them that autonomy and support in the development. Does that help?
Yeah, that's a really good question. No, I think just what was the shortest time frame that someone went through the prototyping?
Oh man.
I know you need to get going.
No, it's,
So
I'm trying to think if it was.
Most of the pioneers probably were 15 months. They
No.
were hired in August and then.
No, unfortunately each one of these cycles, each one of these prototyping cycles took on a life of its own because it was driven by, did we have an instructor that was going to take it on? What was the time frame of when it was supposed to be delivered? So each of these design processes was time bound to. So for example, we hired Robin Bacon in November. She was going to teach in January. And really we had some semblance of what that curriculum might look like, but she spent a good part of December and her break and was ready to put it in place in January.
That was for Foundations of Medicine 2?
Correct, right. So that was a cycle time that was very short. And so the framework was large and broad, and so did she know daily what she was? No way, no way. Another one that was a very, very short cycle was Northland CAPS. We hired people 3 weeks before students, and they literally let students help develop the curriculum. I mean, it was letting customers develop the product, which if you look at Procter & Gamble, you look at some of these companies that take tons of customer feedback to create the next iteration of a product, that's exactly what they did in the Northland CAPS because of the time frame. 3 weeks, and I'm going to have students. And those teachers literally turned those kids into not recipients of this curriculum, they were designers of it. And so here again, a lot of trust, a lot of autonomy, and the willingness to let students drive some of this, that was pretty unheard of. So I think the cycle time, when you talk about the cycle time, it's going to range from when do you have a leader that's going to lead this curriculum development, and when is it due, I guess is. So you have to change your process based on those types of timelines. I think the other one and it's clunky because I remember in the very early days of the law program, it was myself and an assistant district attorney that was developing the law program. Well, we hadn't found a teacher. We didn't find Greg House until, I don't know, it was probably like May. And we were going to launch this thing in August. So that was harder because we had a lot of people already wrapped up in this, and then we needed to get the leader, which is the teacher, on board. But he had to have his hands in it too. So I think that there's no ideal way, you know, each time. I think the key is that you have to have it be industry-led. And that is the most important. And if you don't do that, you're never going to have the engagement of the industry partners. Okay, we good?
Wonderful. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
It's amazing.
Hey!